This week on the podcast, we're joined by IceBrrglar, who's going to tell us all about the cycle. We talk some Dr. Disrespect news, which is interesting for us because I don't think we've ever talked Dr. Disrespect. And we have some updates around Google Stadia. All of that and more in this week's episode of the podcast. Roll the intro.
Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba, ba-ba-ba-da-ba, ba-da.
Bing bong. Did I get it right that time?
You did.
Hell yeah, let's go.
1 in 20.
Man, the elevator music gets better every week. Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I'm your host, Danny K. With me, as always, the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Greenlee Green. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. I have not found a hair tie in like 4 days. I've just been letting it all hang out,
Yeah.
and it's been a good time. I've changed perspective. I feel like Fabio in the wind. Like, it's great. It's good. It's good. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing good.
Wait,
Have
what?
you gotten on your motorcycle yet?
Not yet. No. The weather's getting nicer and nicer. I started it up the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go buy some more jeans because I can't find any of my good like riding jeans.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking about it, just letting the hair flow and in the wind. But
Yeah.
I hear it's also not very fun to do that. So
I mean,
I
we
don't know.
just need one photo of you, hair in the wind on your motorcycle, like some sort of modern Greek god riding a horse. You know?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, riding
Okay.
an iron
I
horse.
pay good money for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same.
All right.
Same. I'll paint it.
We're also joined by the spooky and ukuli, the Mendachi. Mendachi, how are you today?
You know, it's another spookily week, Danny. I have, in an attempt to try and shed my humanity, have shaved all of the hair from my head, mainly because I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And I don't know, maybe I'm having a Britney moment, but like I just straight up was not feeling it anymore, man. So it had to go. Had to go.
Yeah.
Dachi, it's okay for you to just say you want to be like me. It's all right.
It's true.
You can say that.
I did spot IceBrrglar from across the hall, and I was like, "Yo, that boy fresh!" And then I copped his style as soon as I got home.
The crazy thing about the 2007 Britney Spears incident is she's still feeling the repercussions of that to this day.
Oh yeah.
Kind of feel bad for her.
Same. It's not good. It's not good. It's bad news bears.
Mm-hmm.
In
Crazy stuff.
kind of related news, I think I just saw Amanda Bynes' conservatorship just ended. Because Amanda
Yeah.
Bynes had a similar meltdown and they put her under conservatorship. So now
I
Britney
don't remember that.
I
Yeah,
didn't
dude,
either.
she's got like face tattoos and like she looks like a completely different person, dude. No
Yeah.
more Amanda, please. It's like rehab, please. And they said nah. So I don't know what's going on there, man. It's sad though.
Yeah.
Oh mercy. Okay.
But we're also joined this week by IceBrrglar. Ice, how are you today?
I'm excellent. I'm absolutely excellent.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
for folks out there who this is their first time meeting you, like myself, this is our first time meeting. Who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you?
I am a Twitch streamer. I do quite a few different things on Twitch, but mainly and mostly I play hardcore FPS games. The title of that being Tarkov, if anybody's heard of Escape from Tarkov. That is what we stream more than anything. I have 5,000 hours in the game. You come to watch me kill people and give educational content on how to not die. And then I die, but you do as I say and not as I do. If that makes sense. But we do some art in the channel as well. We play other games from time to time. This week we've been playing the closed beta of The Cycle, which I think you guys are going to be asking me about in a little bit here. And that's been an absolute blast. And it's kind of in that same genre as Tarkov, which it's a very difficult FPS game. It's all about shooting and looting. And then I think in answer to your last question, which was where can you find me? You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/IceBrrglar. And hold up for a moment because my name is unnecessarily difficult. So it's Ice, and then it's BRRR, like butter shooting a gun sort of situation, and then Glur, GLAR. So IceBrrglar with instead of a U, it's 3 R's. So that's where you can find me if you want to check out the Twitch and any other my kind of pages and outlets. You can obviously check out from the Twitch page. You just scroll down and you'll see all the other things that we have available and we do. So that's me.
I just want
Excellent.
to go out on a limb and say that now I feel like I have egg on my face because I thought it was ice burr, like it's cold burglar.
I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? You get like the burr of the gun, you get like the burr of the chill, and then also ice is often considered loot or like money, right? So I'm also taking their loot. There's so many connotations, but it mainly came from the fact that my last name has Berg in it. So that's really how that started. So it's like
This has
it's like
become
an
so
onion.
twisty.
It's like an onion, but the onion is not actually an onion. Inside, it's a small chocolate maze, but it just melts slowly until you don't understand what the thing was in the first place.
Oh my god, that's beautiful and
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
The
And
metaphors.
it's got chocolate in it.
Yeah.
The metaphors, man, it's deep.
We
It's deep.
are.
This boy's an ocean.
Yeah. I
Meta-
was expecting the name to be like a puddle, but really, it's like
Mm.
it's a whole ocean here.
Yep.
There's nothing shallow going on.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah, excellent. And I just feel like a very
Quick?
very quick, brief,
Very quick.
yes, very quick, brief rundown. Greenlee, would you like to describe how you and Ice got acquainted?
Oh, okay. All right.
That's
so I was,
necessary.
All right,
I
there's
was
two
playing
sides
this
to every
game-
story, guys. There's two sides to every story.
playing this very fun, very enchanting, very chill game called Escape from Tarkov. Very
Mhm.
fun. There's like rainbows and puppies in the game, right? Etc. Etc. I was doing some tasks for myself, just running through on this map called Shoreline. A very wonderful place. It's it's a
Mhm.
beachside sanatorium. Anyway. Mental
Sanatorium. Yeah, sanatorium is
yeah.
right. Yep.
So it's a mental hospital, right? And I had to go up to this room. So I'm like, I wasn't really looking to fight anyone. I was willing to throw hands. However, I ran up to the building with the key that I needed for the task and a marker to go up to a room. But I hear someone shuffling behind the wall. So I'm like, hey, I'm just here to do a task. Can I go up there? And all of a sudden I hear a voice be like, yeah, sure.
That is what I did.
So I ran in, I opened the door, got my shit, went upstairs, put the marker down, and then all of a sudden, as I was going up, there was someone on the third story.
Mm-hmm.
So I blasted them. I put so many rounds of flechette ammo into their face. It was inconceivable, to be honest. They crumpled to the floor.
I saw that guy. He
grab-
didn't have a head
yeah.
anymore. You can't even actually technically do that in the game, but the character
Yeah.
model did not have a head anymore. I was very confused.
So I'm in the room. I get my marker down. I'm waiting. All of a sudden, I hear grenades being chucked down the hallway. I'm fearing for my life in the corner. Like, please stop throwing grenades at me. Then all of a sudden, I hear it from down the hall. Hey, you wouldn't by a chance be the guy I let up here, right? I'm like, yeah, it's me. I just want to leave. So he lets me go downstairs, and I'm running. I couldn't find my way out of this fucking side of the hall because I don't like this map. I don't go to this map often. So I run to another door, and I'm running. I hear someone shuffling up above me on like a second story, and I hide behind a little brick thing to regain stamina. I'm about to just take off to around the corner, and all of a sudden I hear a nice little clink of a
Ding, ding.
grenade land right at my feet and immediately explode. And I died. And I come to see the name, and I'm like, this can't be the guy who I was talking to. It better not be. And I go into the chat, and lo and behold, as I join the chat, I hear, I really hope that's not the guy that I let go.
You
So
know
I
what he
told
said to
him
me? Yeah. You know what this motherfucker
politely,
said to me? Now I did kill him.
Respectfully, in the most respectful way possible, stub your big toe.
I mean, that's just not something you say to someone, but we got past it, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, we worked it out.
So I live on that map. I live on Shoreline, and that is I go there to teach educationally my chat, anybody interested, and for the fun of myself to murder as many people as possible.
How to
And,
backstab?
but I do try to be honest when it comes to VoIP interactions. You can talk to people in game. That is a new incorporation. This wipe has been an incredible incorporation to the game.
I love it.
Very, very fun.
VoIP is
It's
great.
awesome. But I did have every intention of letting him leave. But the issue was I was expecting this gentleman that was tasking to be dressed like, a plebeian, someone who was not necessarily looking to fight and be dangerous. I thought maybe he was just a casual, maybe see a naked boy running along there without anything on him. Just, I see this Chadicus, this man with flowing locks, a gigantic backpack, almost as beautiful as his ass, as he goes running along the side. And I am probably 80 to 100 meters away from this guy. And I just go, oh, dude, this guy has no idea what's coming for him. I know that my boy just ran out right side. We heard him fiddling. We heard him break glass down below. He jumped out window and he headed down towards road to custom spawn. But no, Mr. Green Elite, or should I say Sir Green Elite in this situation, he was he's that sort of gentleman, decided to run along that strip. And I threw a grenade
I had to go to Lighthouse.
about as possibly far as you can throw a grenade, even with max strength in the game. And I did get the kill, and I felt terrible. I felt very terrible, but he was very gracious about it, and it's led to an awesome interaction with a really cool guy, and now some really other cool guys as well. So I get to know you guys, Danny and Mandachi. So
Yeah, I would say it was a pleasure that you killed me, but it really wasn't. I got my task done, so it doesn't matter.
It's true. You did get your task done.
We'll take a page from Bob Ross here and say it was a happy little accident.
Happy little accident.
So we do have a question of the week this week, brought to us by IceBrrglar. We're gonna keep this one a little quick, and we can debate the answers in the YouTube comments or in on Twitter. Greenlee, where can they talk to us on Twitter?
At Next to Nothing PC.
All right, and what about Facebook?
Facebook is just Next to Nothing, the podcast.
Excellent. So the question of the week this week is: growing up, who was your favorite character from movies, comics, cartoons, and why? Let's just keep it like one sentence, and then we can defend ourselves later. We'll start. We'll defer to our guest here, Ice. Who's your favorite character?
I gotta go with staple classic Star Wars character. Qui-Gon Jinn was my guy and is still my guy. And there's an endless amount of reasons for it, but again, we can defend that later. But that Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Master, was my inspiration growing up.
Mandachi.
Oshiro Mifune's Sanjuro of the Yojimbo and Sanjuro films by Akira Kurosawa. Just the absolute staple in what a quiet lone hero type really is, and where all samurai main characters come from.
It's a good answer.
Green Elite.
We're gonna stick to this trend, and I'm gonna say my idol as a child was Luke Skywalker. He was the picture perfect virtue, unswayable, always believed that everyone had a second chance, and he just brimmed with hope. He is the quintessential hero.
Prince.
Don't look at The Last Jedi. They ruined his character.
Wait, what movie? I have never heard of that one.
Never. It's not real.
Were those made? Never heard it.
Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Ooh,
I liked him
great.
because I was super edgy, and then he also had a great redemption arc.
He did.
The best.
The most amazing of redemption arcs.
Yeah. So let us know in the Twitch comments or in the comments on YouTube. Also, the aforementioned Twitter and Facebook. Growing up, who's your favorite character from movies, comics, cartoons, and why? Let us know there, and we will. And tell us if we're wrong. Tell us that we're wrong, so we can argue with you. Because little known fact about YouTube: comments on YouTube are good for the algorithm. Tell us we're wrong. I will fight you.
Also, all the algorithms on every platform are fucked. So anything you can do to fight against them, 100% do.
Yeah. So there's our shilling, guys. If you want to be a part of the show, go on ahead and answer that. Of course, if you guys want to if you guys missed any part of the show, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. I think that is all of the waiting that we probably want to do. Let's talk about the Cycle Frontier. So, the Cycle Frontier is a game that we have talked about on the show before, but it has gone through what seems like a pretty massive transformation in its development time.
A metamorphosis. It's become a
Yes.
beautiful little butterfly.
So yeah, we are very much interested in hearing all about this Ice. So go on ahead and take it away. Tell us all about the
Yeah.
game.
Well, so the game obviously has a very different origin than what it is now. But the main reason it's kind of coming up and it's occurring and we're talking about it is because they just released the second closed beta for essentially the adjusted version of the game. There was also a closed beta that came about 4 months prior that I played a lot of as well. That was very similar. Not too many differences from what's happening right now in this closed beta. But before those two released, the game was not what I think the way that I classify the game for anybody that's interested in it, the game is a technically it's an MMO. It is a massively multiplayer online, but it is a hardcore FPS shooter with looter shooter qualities, but a raid based. You go in, try and survive, and extract with loot kind of genre setting. It can be very difficult to try and explain Tarkov or the Cycle to people that haven't played a game like that. But that is what it's turned into. However, it started out as a battle royale, and I never played it. Well, it was in the battle royale stasis. But I heard a lot. Some people liked it, but it wasn't getting quite the reception and the following that people had hoped for while they were doing alpha testing. And they decided to essentially flip the script. When the map was made, there was already people testing it and go, let's do something completely different, and adjusted to this kind of raid based. You go into a match, you try and find loot, you try and extract, and if you die, you lose all of it. Genre that there's very few games out within the FPS situation that do that outside of like Tarkov. So it seems to have worked really well for them. There's been a really good reception for it, and this is their second closed beta going into that. So.
Yeah,
I
I've
think that's
seen a few people. I like the term high stakes shooter,
yeah. Yep.
where like you have like your standard like TDM matches and whatever else, and there's really nothing other
Yep.
than like just losing the match. There's nothing that's really at stake. And then you have your battle royales, which are the race to the top,
Yeah.
the desire to be number one. And then there's the high stakes shooters, the put your money where your fucking mouth is.
Yeah.
Show me that you're good and show me that you're willing to prove that you're good shooters.
100%.
And that's
Yeah.
that's how I would kind of just like the stuff that I've seen on the Cycle. That's
Yep.
kind of what I would describe it as too.
100%. Yeah, it's a game that is very punishing if you try and run big, right? So it's a go big, go home sort of situation. If you try and run big, run really high end gear, really high end weapons, and bring lots of meds, lots of things, big backpacks. It's the sort of thing where one raid can just kind of deplete your money you have to work with, and drain you out, and you can, and honestly, for a lot of people, can be very, to a certain degree, I'll be fully honest, depressing when you die in those situations, because it's very high stakes. But at the same time, there's a very, very high reward aspect of, if you run good gear, you run good guns, you give yourself more of a chance to kill lots of players, and there's no cap on what you can or can't take out of the game. You can try and get as much loot, as much player loot, as much essentially money loot that's just good sell value out of the game. And one of the awesome things about the Cycle and games like Tarkov is you can kind of turn them into whatever you want them to be. You can be as aggressive and as PvP oriented as you want, or there's a really heavy PvE or player versus environment aspect in the game as well, where you can fight monsters and take the loot you get off of them. There's a whole another way to play it, where you don't necessarily have to be chasing all the action and fighting all the actual players, other online players in the match as well. So it's very, very cool. Very cool. High stakes is a great way to explain that.
Yeah. So, can you kind of give a description of the gameplay cycle? Like, how does a game
Yeah.
play out?
So initially, we can go from actually launching in, which is when you're going to go into a game like the cycle. Essentially, you are picking your loadout, and unlike some other games where you have a gun. Let's use COD for an example, where you have a list of guns you can choose from, and if you go into the raid with it, it's not like it's a piece of equipment you lose. It's just an item that is always available to you. You can continually run. Unlike those games, you usually have a set amount of weapons in your stash or money to buy weapons from vendors. So you'll pick up a weapon, you'll pick up the armor you want to run, you'll pick up meds, you'll pick up ammo. You have to bring ammo in as well. You don't just have an endless supply of ammo. And then you will go into to a map, and essentially what that looks like is you'll go to a terminal and you'll choose to go to one of two maps. There's Bright Sands, which is the kind of little bit easier map, especially in the PvE scale, right? Any of the maps can be difficult because there's really good players that can be on the match hunting down other players. But in terms of the map itself, Bright Sands is kind of the normal challenge level, and then Crescent Falls, which is the very difficult, very, very frustrating, a lot of very dangerous creatures that can absolutely fuck your shit up on that map. And you choose which one you want to go into. Once you actually choose which map you're going to go into, you start to load in. Everybody drops down in pods scattered across the entire map. It's a big map, lots of different POIs or places of interest for you to go to. And once you're in there, you get to decide what it is you want to do. And one of the biggest changes with this beta, this closed beta, their second one, is they now have campaigns. So essentially, each trader that is at the main station you start out at has quests for you to do. You can go and you can try and find items for their quest. You could go and try and just kill other players. You could go and try and mine some rocks and some ore, get some brittle titan ore, nickel, essentially whatever it is that you're feeling like doing, or whatever you think will lead to success. And usually, what I coach people to do in a game like the Cycle or Tarkov is to start off by questing, because questing will unlock higher level traders who give you access to better guns and better armor. So that's kind of how that typically looks. And once you've found the things you want to do, you fought the players you want to fight, you're moving for an extract, and you're given 2 extracts on the map that you can see if you open up your map in game, and you have to make your way there, call down an extract ship, and then you have to extract out on that ship before it leaves without you. So it's really cool. It's again, raid based essentially means that you're going into a raid or into a match, and you're trying to survive, and then you're trying to leave out of that raid. So that's what I mean when I say raid based like that. So that's kind of the general vibe of how the cycle functions. Is that kind of what you're looking for answer wise there?
That and more.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very in depth. I feel like I feel like I would know how to play the game now.
Hell yeah.
Which I will say I did play. I think we played like 1 or 2 nights. Green, correct me if I'm wrong.
The battle royale
The
one.
battle royale
yes,
version of the
we
game?
played, I believe, one at least one night.
Yeah, I think
I
it
don't
might
know
have.
if we did 2.
I feel like we might have done 2 nights on it. And I remember the game running decent. I don't remember it stuttering or having like a ton of problems.
Sure.
Can you kind of describe like how the game is optimized and how the game feels?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So right now, again, it's in an early beta. So any beta is going to have bugs. It's going to have issues. When it was in the battle royale kind of stage, again, I didn't actually get a chance to play the game. But the issue was not with the actual format of the game. It wasn't with any sort of like basically coding structure or anything like that. I think they decided that maybe that there was it's a bit of a saturated market with battle royales. Maybe they felt like they didn't necessarily have a purple cow, their differentiator in between, what they were doing in their battle royale versus others, what was going to draw them in. And so when they transitioned to this, when they transitioned to doing this, I think it was less about optimization. I think it was less about any kind of errors within the game itself, and more so recognizing kind of the human error of, right, is this the genre? Is this the thing we know we're doing? Should we try something different? And as for right now with the game runs fairly well, but it is in a beta. So there is crash reports. There is a lot of things that are going to happen from time to time. If you are looking to play a game that runs perfectly and smoothly, this game is probably not for you. at the exact moment. Now, give it a month or two. They're finishing up all patches and bugs, and it'll be in a great place. But currently, I've experienced very little issues with the game. It runs awesome when I'm in the game, but there's been a plethora of people that have struggled with constant crashes and essentially the game not operating as it should. My buddies Staffex and Cold Dash, they both wanted to play, and there was basically a bug where people couldn't access their friends lists. So either they were playing alone, or playing alone. That was the options. So, and then the workaround for it was, making a secondary account on your computer that you could run from. And there, obviously sometimes you get into those weird, like, how really do I have to do all this just to play this one video game? But it is free. It is a closed beta. It's not even an open beta. More for anybody that wants to play it, check it out. Currently, you can watch a streamer on Twitch. You will get a drop for a beta access key, and you can play it. But you should expect for it to be a game that has errors every now and then. It might run beautifully for you. It's run near perfectly for me, and I have pretty nice specs on my computer, but they're not god tier. But yeah, it when you're in the game, it's optimized well. It feels good. The game has a really nice flow to it, but yeah, it is in closed beta. There's going to be bugs and error reports and issues and crashing, and that is something that if you want to check out the game, you should be prepared for.
Yeah, you mentioned specs. I do have the system requirements, the minimum specs. So if you are if you're interested, for PC, Windows 10 64-bit, an Intel Core i5 7500T or an AMD FX 8370, 6 gigs of RAM, and NVIDIA GTX 760 or an AMD Radeon HD RX 580, and of course broadband internet.
Mm-hmm.
So
I will say with that too, I've noticed the game is very heavy on your graphics card. It is very heavy on the GPU. I play a lot of games that are often RAM heavy, and we just upgraded our RAM in our computer, and I was really pleasantly surprised. But like, oh, it's not really sucking up too much on RAM. There's not too much memory leak happening, anything like that. And I looked at the graphics card usage, and I think Tarkov sits somewhere around like 42%, and it's a pretty hefty game for me. It had me at 98% on my graphics card, and apparently for certain people that had 3070s in NVIDIA graphics cards, it was overloading their graphics cards at that point. So again, closed beta, not perfect, but it does seem to be very GPU heavy. So that would be the number one thing I'd be looking at. I think if you have like 8 gigs of RAM, you're probably good to go. So
that's dope.
I think it's because it's a very floral game. Like the
oh,
world that you're
100%, yeah.
in there's a lot of grass, a lot of different textures,
Mm.
a lot of color.
They do a
Very
lot
colorful.
of like visual add-on too. Like, so one of the things in games you don't always necessarily is like dancing lights throughout an area that are just like fluxing and moving, especially for an open world game. That means that all of that is happening and your game is trying to render it constantly when you're coming through that. And it is a gorgeous game. But yeah, there's a lot of color and visual stuff happening.
Yeah.
And you say that there's bugs and stuff like that. Max, one of our podcast friends, Maximus, was doing the tutorial to play with me, and he actually fell through the map.
Oh.
In the
wow.
tutorial, he fell through the map and was like stuck in the map. So there's definitely some bugs for it. What's your overall like experience? Like, what would you say? Like, this game's great. It's great. This game's mid. This game's low tier. What is your exact thought process on it?
I will be fully honest. I absolutely love it. I think the cycle is an incredible game. I think it's super fun. I think it has fantastic potential. I mean, putting it on a rating system, right? Almost no game is a 10 out of 10, right? So keeping that in mind, most games that are out, if they're really incredible, they're probably a 9.5, right? I'd say this game is probably like an 8.5 for me. It's fantastic. It's super, super fun. It's immersive. It's visually gorgeous. The gunplay feels good. Mendashi was actually talking about it with us a little bit earlier of like the guns are cool. The sci-fi aspect is really, really immersive. It draws you in. It's a sexy game. And the feel is good. I enjoy the PvP. The PvP is really satisfying. I enjoy the PvE elements. It's very challenging now. They upped the ante big time with how PvE interacts. The AI kind of programming for how monsters go after you now is really exciting, really fun, and really stress inducing, which I think for this genre of game, right? These kind of high stakes FPS looter shooter MMOs that are raid based. I think that kind of intensity is what makes you love them, right? Is that like adrenaline pump of like, am I going to get out? Am I going to get out? I just killed 3 dudes. I'm running across the map. I'm thick with, 3 C's and spaces between each letter. I am thick. And you're trying to get out. And that guy starts shooting you at the end as you're on your extract ship and you're like, oh God. I absolutely love it. It's why I love Tarkov. It's why I love this game. And honestly, to be honest with you guys, 5,000 hours in Escape from Tarkov, that's some of that adrenaline dips off for me, which it's arguably a more kind of hardcore high stakes game, but going to the cycle, it's a whole new fresh take. It's different. I'm starting from the beginning with everyone else. So I've got that reemergence of the like, oh no, I don't want to die here. Oh, you see me leaning, ducking and bobbing while I'm playing. So I think the game is fantastic. I think it is a great checkout. And despite bugs, despite the issues going on with it, being a closed beta, if you do watch a stream, get an access code for it, or you already have one and you want to check it out, if you don't run into a plethora of issues, I think you guys will have an absolute blast playing the game. If you like high stakes first person shooters, if that's not your thing, you might not. But I think the game's fantastic. I really enjoy it.
I am actually on the other end of the spectrum.
Really?
I don't think this game is bad
Mm,
by any means.
sure.
When I play it, I just feel like it's almost too colorful for what it is. It's
Okay.
a very gorgeous game.
Sure.
It's got a lot of potential. Um, I don't like when I played it, especially solo. I didn't really feel like I was in danger like I
Mm,
do in Tarkov. Like the moment I launch into Tarkov,
sure.
I feel like I am being watched already.
Yeah,
And
I get
there's
that.
just something about this game that I feel like they could amp up something. Maybe
Sure.
make the spawns a little bit tighter or something of that aspect. To where like I'm actually feeling like I'm in danger.
Mm,
Um, but other than that, like the game itself was fun. The time to kill felt really decent. I wouldn't say it was like
mm,
it definitely wasn't like Tarkov speed where like someone's gonna plink you in the head, you're done. But
mm.
it felt like it was fast enough to where it's like you're not draining 10 whole clips into someone
Yeah.
um
It's not
just to get
Apex
them down.
Legends.
Yeah, it's definitely not Apex Legends. I want to see this game uh flourish. I feel like this is a game that that could like be in the forefront just with like a little bit of minor tweaking.
Mm.
Um especially if you play with friends. So I'm really hoping that they actually get that patched out with the whole friends list stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like make everything
I do think the friends list issue is now patched as of 2 days ago. That is now officially working again. They did get that under wraps, but there is still other bugs and stuff going on. But the first week, pretty much that friends list plagued the whole time. But that one should be patched as of now.
yeah. So as I said, I don't think it's a horrible game. I think it's good. I think
Mm.
it has a lot of potential to it. I just don't put it on like Tarkov pedestal or Hunt from Showdown or Hunt from Showdown.
Sure.
Hunt Showdown.
Mm.
Like those two games, like they're the quintessential for
Yeah.
me. The high stakes, you're going in, you're gonna
Uh-huh.
lose it all if you die, kind of thing.
Yep.
So
Would you almost say it feels a little bit like Tarkov, but someone put a Fortnite skin over it a little bit, and it just takes
exactly.
away the gravity of a little bit. I get that.
That's
I do get
that's
that.
exactly that's the best way to describe how I was feeling.
Yeah.
Was it's like I'm going in, I'm expecting like Tarkov, or it's like it's space Tarkov, but like I go in and like everything is super bright, vivid, and
Mm.
stuff like that. It's like and almost a little like cartoony,
Yeah.
and which is fine. Like I like the aesthetic of it. It's just it doesn't like there's something in my brain saying like for the type of game it is, it shouldn't be this colorful.
Sure. Sure.
You
I
know?
get that.
It feels safe.
Yeah. That's. Yeah.
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 You
Hmm.
know what
It
it
feels
feels like? It feels different. Like I'm gonna be the thorn here and say that, like, for one thing, being somebody who, and I know Green, you're the same exact way, and maybe that's also like what kind of sets our opinions different here. I was gonna say, like, I love tons and tons of sci-fi games, and it's one of my favorite settings, right behind just like your sort of medieval fantasy like. Sorry, I can't stop watching the gameplay. I'll look at the camera now. But the first thing that it reminded me of when I was looking at the planet surface is, and Danny, this probably kind of struck a chord with you, but the first and second planets that you go to in Outer Worlds,
Yeah.
they're incredibly vivid, colorful, and alien. And the fact that it doesn't look like, say, Apex or Tarkov or, say, Rust or anything like that, it's incredibly refreshing, dude.
Sure.
Like I think that having a different look is fantastic. I don't want to buy, you know, the other flavor of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
It's I
sure.
don't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just I like that it actually looks different. I like that sets it apart. I do worry about a lot of rigs being able to run it because it does seem so graphically intense. And like you have games that are, your quote unquote AAA releases, and they're full releases like Elden Ring, and it's like, yeah, it turns out Elden Ring was just running 100% on your CPU there for a while before they actually
Yep.
patched it, and now it uses your graphics card. Um, when saying, like, you can't really put it up to, say, like Hunt or something like that, or Tarkov, uh, can you give me years wise? How long is Tarkov and how long has Hunt been out,
Hmm.
ready for
Um,
purchase or play?
Escape from Tarkov has been in beta for forever.
Coming
Yeah,
I
up
like
on
two
believe
6 years.
million
5
years.
years.
Coming up on
Yeah,
Yeah.
6, I believe.
yeah, and Hunt Showdown came out in 2018, I
Yep.
believe.
Okay, so like
Um,
4 and 6 years, right?
yeah, yeah, they
So
just started their 4-year anniversary, but
that's good
I don't
stuff.
like that comparison
Hmm.
because Hunt has been evolving massively since 2018. It's
Hmm.
practically a new game.
Yeah, yeah, and like, yeah, they've added a ton of stuff as they kind of continue. Um, that's not necessarily where I'm going. I'm saying, like, the amount of time that they've had to be able to work on their title, as
Mhm.
well as adding things, and obviously the refining process. So while we're still in the forging process with the Cycle Frontier, I would like to see where the Cycle Frontier ends up, say, when they actually go full release, like out of closed beta, I should say.
Hmm.
Whether they go
Yeah.
Tarkov route and they go ahead and just do open beta and yada yada and just do that Tarkov style for 6 years and they never get out of beta, or they actually do a full release and then watch it, say, a year from now. I would love to see it a year from now and then come back to our conversation with Ice and
Yeah,
just compare and contrast, man.
I would love
I
that
would
too.
say that, like, where it's at, what I was watching you play, man, I was like, yeah, I would have tons of fun doing this. The
Hmm.
PvE aspect of this, like Hunt is spooky and scary. Though, like, the zombies are sometimes like slow, but obviously there's like way, way worse things than just, zombies. Um, I think that maybe like more predator heavy monsters coming after you, something like in Outer Worlds when you're dealing with those things that look like angry ass triceratops, or like a giant sandworm, like Mass Effect planet hopping. Um, it's it's something that maybe would bring a little bit more of what Green's looking for, I wonder.
Sure.
And then I wonder how many people they would like to load in on one map after release. And we are talking about a closed beta, so people joining is slow.
Yeah, to a little note there too, one of the interesting things, right? If anybody's ever played Tarkov or The Hunt, right? There is actually, I'm not dead certain on The Hunt, but I believe The Hunt is this way too. There's a very specific timer in raid. How long can you be in a raid in Hunt Showdown?
Uh, Hunt Showdown, Hunt Showdown is a little different from Tarkov,
Yep.
where there's not like a respawn for people.
Gotcha.
The match will start with a set number. I think it's up to 12.
Yep.
Yep.
But like it will go up to I believe 50 minutes or 60 minutes
Gotcha. Yep.
until either the server runs out or both bounties have been extracted. If both bounties or a
Gotcha.
single bounty is extracted, then it's 5 minutes after that. Then it'll
Gotcha.
close.
Gotcha. So one of the really interesting things about the cycle, and one of the really attractive things that it has, I see it having incredible potential is. So I don't know if you guys know this, you might already. The cycle runs on a 6-hour raid basis. So you can be in a raid for potentially 6 hours. If you come in at the start of a server, you can be in that raid for an entire 6 hours, but you could also leave in 5 minutes. And through that entire time, each time storm hits and pushes everyone away from spawns, right as soon as the storm ends, fresh players spawn in. And that means there is an endless cycle of PvP and new players and refreshed PvE elements that are constantly happening, which is really exciting because as fun as it is to play a game like Tarkov and wipe a whole lobby and be like, I'm chill now, all the players are dead. There's something really fun about knowing there is always a chance there are more players on the map with you. Even if you've killed 14 players, you could kill 25 players. There is still a chance there are more players that are coming for you. And more PvE. And if you go back in the spot, that big giant boss, that Crusher, or that Jeff, as they call them in games, Marauders. And there's a new one, Dwayne, they call him, which is the like super Marauder that could come after you, and they can absolutely ruin your day. I was gonna say though, I think one of the interesting things too is yes, like I think I grabbed what you were looking at with like the putting the Fortnite skin on Tarkov. It does lull me into a full sense of security that makes the game kind of fun in some ways, though. Where in Tarkov, I'm checking every corner. I am always on point and on turns, and the game lulls you into a sense of like it's peaceful, it's nice out, we're chilling. Oh, there's a guy in that corner. Okay, I'm dead. Like, and you have to, you got to keep your mentality. And again, for someone who's played Tarkov for as long as I do, if I'm running Shoreline, I know my routes. I know spawn rotations. I know how many people are more than likely going to be pushing for this room, how to basically hold someone at this window. I know every nook and cranny of at least 3 or 4 of those maps. And my map knowledge alone gives me a huge advantage over other players. Right now, because there is no spawn rotations in the cycle, it's just endless spawning in. It breaks up what me and my buddy Doodle were talking about in games like Tarkov, what I call the wave, the flow of the map. There's a flow to games that have a spawn rotation and no one else comes in. There's a flow to how you rotate through the map. There's a flow that you can ride that wave to success. And if you linger too long, the tide's going to grab you and drag you out to sea, and you're going to die because you're staying too long in the wrong position. With the cycle, there's not really a wave because it's constantly refreshing. It's constantly wait for it, cycling. So it is kind of refreshing in certain ways, and I think that's a huge thing the game has going for it. I did say the thing.
You said the thing.
Whoa.
Roll.
And map knowledge, I actually just looked down at the comments here, and Zyme Potion said, map knowledge is huge in any game. Sorry, my Twitch brain is like checking for comments every single time.
You're good.
But I definitely agree. Map knowledge is huge in any game, but it's especially huge when there are spawn rotations and you can understand where people are coming from and where they'll be looking to go. And you have a little less of that in the cycle, which is kind of nice. It's
Yeah,
very
I definitely think this game has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see what happens, going forward, especially if what they're saying is true, that they're going to do the full release after this beta and they work out those bugs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
definitely a game to keep your eyes out on, because it was fun when I played it.
Sure.
It just felt weird.
Didn't tick all the boxes.
Yeah, it just felt like I was thinking dark and monsters are everywhere. People are shooting at me. It's got to be dark and dingy, but no, it's like a bright, fluffy clouds and stuff like that. It's a good game. I would love to see more play more of it with like a group of friends. I believe the biggest issue I had was that the group goes up to only 3
trios.
Yeah, I would like to see that go up.
Sure.
Okay. Do you guys mind if we take a break and then talk some news afterwards?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Stay right there.
Hello, Danny is being lazy and has decided to have a text-to-speech robot record this message for you instead of doing it himself. He wants you to know that you can help support the show by telling your friends. Telling your friends about the show helps us grow and help more people save money while gaming. It's also free. You can tweet about us, share us on Facebook, or even send a message directly to your friends and family with a link to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, or leave a comment. That helps tell the algorithm that you like this kind of content and would recommend it. Thanks for watching and listening. The show will resume in just a few moments. P.S. Green Elite has bad taste in Pokemon.
All right, and we are back. Thank you guys for letting us take that break. Yeah, let's get into our news here. We have
Yeah.
So this one is interesting because we don't really, it almost feels like drama, but not really, because
This is an expected drama though. Like this is definitely this person's move.
yeah. So Green, I'm gonna let you take point, but yeah, let's talk about the Doctor Disrespected Midnight Society controversy around some NFT stuff.
Yeah, Dr. Disrespect announced that his new game studio, Midnight Society, will be opening its new battle royale with an NFT access passes to the first 10,000 people, referring to them as Founders Access Pass. Each NFT pass will be sold for $50 US, but no word has been actually said about the actual game and when the actual game will be released. So that's brought a big stink in the community about the whole NFT movement. I honestly I think this is like completely in character for Dr. Disrespect.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, this is his thing. This is the stirring the pot with the the 90s references, the slick techno stuff like that, and really just getting a PR out. I really feel like this is a PR stunt to get people to purchase the beta of the upcoming game. Um, they're selling the early access to the game, but also getting eyes on the project, of course, in Dr. Disrespect fashion. Um, one question I did have is how transferable these NFTs were going to be and how they were going to do it. Because like that's NFTs are supposed to be I
That's
have
the thing.
this and I can sell it, and therefore I have a value on this non tangible thing.
This
So-
non-fungible token.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
So I honestly, this really, to me, how I processes it is like being a fan of Dr. Disrespect and how long he's been sticking to this character of I'm a high class video game person who or video game professional who's also this 90s tech wizard when in an era of 2020s tech. I think it's just it builds into how he conveys himself as a streamer. I don't really think that this is going to be like as huge as people are making it out to be. To me, honestly, it just sounds like they're selling beta keys. That's it. Just throwing the NFT tag on it to really open people's eyes on
But
the
isn't that
project.
technically what it is with NFTs in everything? Is the conceptual idea of when you throw that NFT tag on, resale value goes up, exclusivity comes into play. And honestly, there are people that if they miss out in that first 10,000 batch will pay big money, again, resale value on NFTs to gain access, not just to be a part of the original beta, but to have a founder's pass. Because again, right, with NFTs, it's resale value. That's the whole thing,
Mhm.
right? Is that it builds credibility, and then you can resell it for higher. Then that person resells it for higher. It's I mean, NFTs make money, and if he's trying to be entrepreneurial with it, and basically get that continual trading between a community of Dr. Disrespect supporters that want to have those founder passes.
I do have to
That's a
say,
chance for a lot of money.
not only is Dr. Disrespect a damn good actor, he has a very solid business model.
Yeah, entrepreneurial mind.
With his streaming in his character, and like imagine the amount of like merchandise Dr. Disrespect has moved over the past 5 years. It's like this is not out of character for him
Hmm.
by any means.
Mendachi, I have a feeling that you have a dissenting opinion.
Oh boy, do you? Yeah, so here's at base, right? So we've been talking about NFTs for a while. NFTs are a fucking terrible pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, to actually form a blockchain code takes so much energy, and already the carbon footprint of humanity is big enough that it could crush us all. So why not just go ahead and throw more logs onto the pyre so that it is even hotter when we burn ourselves alive with the sun? Um, the thing with Dr. Disrespect is that he is a heel character in any WrestleMania that is forever. And, like major kudos to a dude that can form an image that is a brand, that is a character, that is the business. Like that's, 99% of what people don't understand. The dude doesn't have to be anything else other than what he is. And he knows that NFTs are more or less the thorn in the heel of every other video game reporting, as well as most people just see it and immediately want to spit on the ground. So, what will get people talking? Throw NFT in it. And then the other side of that, too, is that the people that are super about it, your NFT bros that do believe that it's the next big stock market and it's actually about as useless as, say, like the high art market, and just liquidating funds and putting it into something that is harder to track and it's just absolutely useless when it comes to an economical standpoint. The NFT bros will also talk about this, but they will praise it. So you get both sides of the spectrum, and all you
Yeah.
have to do is mention three little fucking
Yeah.
letters, dude.
Yep.
It's great. So like the other thing is that Founders Pass is the same exact wording that was used when Fortnite actually, started their beta before they actually had Battle Royale, and it was just the Storm or whatever the fuck. And it's just like, yeah, you get all this stuff, and also there's a cool logo, and there's a whole bunch of like really weird shit where it's been really vague what they're talking about what this game is, and it sounds like some sort of hybrid between like say Total War and Clash of Clans and just a whole bunch of buzzwords that fit in line with any other video game that you understand, like the words guild and aesthetics and titles and stuff like that. It's like no one knows what the hell this game is, but people know Dr. Disrespect, and if they didn't before this, but they're in the same vein of NFTs, they know who the hell he is now.
Yeah.
So I guess in closing, it's like great, more NFT news on my fucking dashboard. Awesome. Dr. Disrespect, fantastic. Solid overalls though. Don't dig the mullet.
That is a tactical vest
Yeah, it's
and
a
a
it's a
bulletproof
yeah.
mullet. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a
See,
bulletproof
like,
mullet.
yeah. We could sit here and I could tell you guys about the Undertaker and Mankind and Kane. It's literally the same damn thing, and that's what's brilliant about it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
one of those things, but at its core, I absolutely fucking abhor the business model that is NFTs
Yes.
and will never stand by it.
I 100% agree with you. I don't
Yeah,
like
I was gonna
NFTs.
say, yeah.
I hate it. I hate the concept of NFTs. But I wouldn't say necessarily a huge fan of Dr. Disrespect. I respect how he has gone about building his brand for and the acting skills that he has had to push this continuously for so long. That takes dedication. And like he's one of the most dedicated people in the streaming community to keep that going. Like there's other people who copy and try to be Dr. Disrespect. That's how big Dr. Disrespect is.
Yep.
So
Right. Yeah.
respect the hustle.
Yeah. Something that my buddy Brent, who co-hosts podcasts for Two People with me, brought up. Heard he pulled the epic gamer heel turn by cheating on his wife, and it's like, is that also part of character acting? Just being a fuck? Because if that's part of it, then I mean, doing the NFT things is also really in line with the character.
There's more to that though. I don't feel like that is necessary to
That's
like the actual conversation.
that's an
Well,
ad
so-
hominem attack.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
well,
that's
so
a
yeah.
defamation.
So one of the things with that is, so I've never been a huge Doctor Disrespect fan. I think he's entertaining. He's never been my guy to go watch. But I think anybody that uses you can like the guy, you can hate the guy. Trying to basically look into someone's relationship with their wife, their marriage, and basically cast your stones in regards to that when she has already moved past that, as much as he's said to other people or he's moved past and they've gone and that's all settled between them. It's really none of our fucking business, right? Like, I think when people start to decide whether or not someone deserves to have success based off of issues they've made by themselves within a relationship, you can hate them for it. You can say, I don't want to support the guy because of that. You're within your right to do that. But trying to decide whether or not they should be respected within the community, thing like that, ultimately, that's their stuff within their own relationship. And we really don't have any say or any part in it. We can't really try and stick our nose to that.
that's Guy Beam stuff, not Doctor Disrespect stuff.
Hmm.
So he even came out when after that happened. He came out on stream as himself. Came clean about it to his community and didn't stream for over a year. Like, he practically quit Twitch for over a year to work on his marriage. So
Yeah.
he was
That's
not there and not
personality
making money.
status.
So, and I don't want to. I think you guys just made some really good points, but kind of bringing us back to where our as a show's focus should be back to like the NFTs and stuff like that. I did see, and I wanted to point this out because I saw it. And I thought this was a good point from friend of the show, Cheater McLurk. He said NFTs would be cool if they were used for digital asset integrity, like preventing item duplication in games. But most business models in use today are BS.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes.
So
yeah.
how do you guys feel about that? Would you guys, if a game used the NFT technology as a way to preserve asset integrity?
If the actual means of creating NFTs wasn't what was doing all of the damage.
Yeah.
It's not the idea of what an NFT is that is damaging, but the process and production of NFTs that are the damage.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So yeah, anything else on this particular topic? I don't have super strong feelings on it. I am kind of tired of just hearing about NFTs. I'm also
Mhm.
I'm very tired of both sides.
Yeah, sure.
I'm very
Mhm.
tired of like the people who just have a hard on for NFTs, and I'm very tired of the people who have a hard on for hating NFTs.
Sure.
Like,
Mhm.
I legitimately think there is a certain amount of people who are disingenuously criticizing NFTs just because it's fashionable.
Sure.
Right.
And I am like,
Yeah.
I have a particular nose for that kind of bullshit. Where I get really tired of smelling it all the goddamn time. So just
Mhm.
like anytime I see an NFT story, I just roll my fucking eyes because I am so tired of the two extremes of it.
Automatic clickbait, homie. Automatic
Yeah.
clickbait.
Yeah. Honestly, if I wanted to succeed in every possible way with this podcast, I would put NFT in the thumbnail every single fucking time.
It's definitely a buzzword. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely clickbait. It's definitely a buzzword.
Just hashtag it, man. Every bot will go ahead and retweet, repost, etc., etc.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God forbid, by the way, God forbid I ever put graphic design, like I ever use the phrase graphic design on Twitter again. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. I've even had people start coming in my streams and try to solicit me for graphic design now.
Oh my
because I put
God.
out one, I think is because I put out one tweet that had
That's
the term
wild.
graphic design in it. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, so let's move on to our last
All right.
topic today of Google Stadia's white label. We finally got more details about this. We talked about it a while ago when what has been the rumors of the future of Google Stadia now that it has become kind of an expensive blunder on Google's part. And a lot of people were saying that Google was going to do that I think it was actually pretty well announced that Google is going to do a white label service. So basically allow other companies to use Google Stadia for their own purposes. The new business service is going to, we have an official name, and the new service is going by the name Immersive Stream for Games. Which is just rolls off the tongue. It's going to cater to large clients to be leveraged for their own purposes. One example is telecom giant AT&T, which used the cloud version of Batman Arkham Knight as an exclusive incentive for AT&T customers. Google also has a few updates that will be coming to the customer-facing version of Stadia, which includes making the storefront accessible to everyone regardless if they have a Google Stadia account or not. Google is also introducing load change porting, which will make porting games to Stadia a quicker process for developers. Okay, that's not bad. They're also adding click-to-play trials, which will let devs and publishers offer customers the chance to play a game without the need for a Stadia account or need to install anything, which would make demoing a game pretty fun, right? You just go to their website, it says play now. You don't have to install or do anything. It just opens it up right away, and you get to play for a few minutes or however long the dev wants you to, get a taste of that. I think that's pretty nice. And that, that's a really nice and inventive way to use the game streaming technology. Because there's always been questions about how the game streaming technology will really work for average consumers. Average consumers don't really have great internet plans that can, really handle that, right? Either the you're going to get the stuttering and artifacting aspect of it, or you're going to hit your limits, right? You have only so much in the States. You have only so much. So this is the cool, inventive ways that really Google probably should have started out in with the first place. There was also one other announcement Google made at GDC, which is that Steam is heading to the Chrome OS, which means Chromebooks will be able to get access to the Steam storefront, and will really just leads more credence to the rumors of gaming-focused Chromebooks becoming a reality. Someone in the Todd Father just dropped in the chat, said, so Google streaming is going to become the new 21st century version of Flash games. Yes. Yes. Google is now just going to become Congregate. Or coolmathgames.com. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? Let's start with Mendachi.
Oh boy. Hey, guess what? It's still a fence. You've painted it a different color, and you're still gonna hang all of your hopes and dreams on it, I guess, for the world to look at as they drive by and pretend they didn't see it. And that's it. That's the whole premise for me in a nutshell. Comments, concerns?
So you're saying this is like a fence that they're painting different colors. I feel like this is something that it's like a junker car. Right? And so they just kind of keep finding new uses for the parts in it. Oh, we could take the wheels and, which I think is better than just turning it into a fucking graveyard like they have with a bunch of other products.
Oh yeah.
I think this technology has good uses, and the problem was that Google just wanted to go, dick first into gaming. And when this technology was kind of untested, they didn't know if they were going to really have, if consumers really had a taste for it yet. And they could have just done other services like this. Like this would have been like a perfect start to the service. Like this would have been the perfect toe in the water for Google Stadia, among, a half dozen other things that they could have done to make that technology more viable and profitable in the long run, like offering productivity options for it, offering, rendering capabilities for it, so it could render, projects and stuff like, CAD and Premiere and stuff like that. It seems that they the gaming market was all they were focused on and didn't think about how the technology could have been used. Um,
Sure.
Ice, what do you think?
Um, I have a kind of like interesting side take off of it. Because I mean, overall, right? It's Google Stadia. Like he's saying, there's changes, there's stuff that's happening with it. They're adjusting around, trying to find new uses. What really strikes me about the whole situation is the mindset change of businesses in regards to gaming and what gaming can provide for customer interaction and stuff. People like a company like AT&T utilizing Google Stadia to basically advocate their product, and how gaming has seemed to become more and more accessible and relevant, and especially within the last 5 years, but essentially how bigger companies are starting to realize the audience and the client base they can bring in through looking at gaming. Which that's one of the kind of little like strange things I get out of that. And I don't know if anybody else was kind of looking at that at all, but I think that's very interesting because it just wasn't something that was really looked at a while ago, right? I mean, gaming's just never been viewed as like a tangible way. Like it's just there's that small group of people that do it. But with like COVID, with all the stuff, right, trying to stay away, whatever with that. But with people being kind of hermited in, we're seeing more and more people buying PCs. We're seeing more and more people playing games. We're seeing more and more people get immersed in that. Twitch streaming is bigger than ever. Like you have all that happening. I think with just kind of talking about that, right? It just is mind blowing to me to see Google Stadia making plays to essentially that are received, like them making the play, but it being received by bigger companies utilizing gaming to promote their product. I just think that's super cool to watch. That's just something I feel like that did not happen not too long ago. I think that's a very interesting and very, very cool thing. And just speaks to the growth of gaming within like the economy as a whole, which is
Yeah.
I don't know, that's my weird take, I guess, off that, but I find very intriguing, very interesting.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a lot there to agree with, Ice, for sure.
Yeah, because like for a while, the only other time I could think of like a gaming service being used to promote like signing up for a new contract or something like with the telecom was Pokemon Go. Like I think it was T-Mobile, like where
Sure.
if you
Yeah.
signed up for a
Yep.
new contract, you would get like a bunch of Pokemon Go like
Yep.
tchotchkes and whatever else in the
Right.
game. Um Otherwise for the longest time it was like free subscriptions to Netflix.
Yeah.
AT&T
100%.
AT&T for a while they were trying
Yep.
to basically give you free direct TV with a wireless contract, and you could watch direct TV without it counting against um, your data allotment.
New data.
That
Yeah.
actually got struck down because that's technically against net neutrality laws
Sure.
or guidelines. Um, but yeah, so it, that one example aside, this is actually a pretty good, especially because
Yeah.
AT&T, uh, do they own Warner? I think they own Warner.
Probably. Or maybe
Warner,
Time Warner owns them.
Yeah. I was gonna say, or maybe the other way around. Yeah.
yeah, but like that makes sense. Like they have,
Yeah.
Warner owns the Arkham games. They own the Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Don't they also own Mortal Kombat?
Yes, because they own NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah. So I mean, they have properties that this would be pretty cool for them to like just offer free, free access. Play these games on your phone. Sign up for a new AT&T contract. Green, what do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think of gaming Chromebooks?
I've yeah, it's Stadia. They should have introduced this like as the total package on you day one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I feel like this is something that we've said over and over and over again. This is what they should have done. And like yeah, Stadia. It's Stadia.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go with yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that whole fence analogy, man, it still works because I mean,
Mm,
at the end of the day, it still functions like a fence, you know? Like if you want to keep your yard separate, if you want privacy, it's still a fence. It's still the thing that they kind of set out to do with it. It's just
mm,
now it's a different color, man.
mm,
So, maybe they're finally picking up all their baggage and moving on.
mm.
Um. Yeah. So like that last little bit though, what do you guys think of gaming Chromebooks becoming a thing?
Man, that's a wild idea.
Yeah.
What
As
is what's like a what's an average price for a Chromebook right
Mm.
now,
That's a
by
good question.
chance?
like 300, $400 as a Chromebook owner.
Ooh.
Yeah. I was thinking about doing like a review like can you game on a Chromebook? I have one of the cheapest ones available and the reason
Mm,
I bought it for myself because I didn't really have a laptop and I was really needing something that I could do like show notes and Twitter stuff and other things um when I me when me and my girlfriend weren't living together.
yeah.
So I was spending a lot of my nights at here and then like doing all my primary content creation at my apartment on my computer. So I just needed something that I could like do a lot of that stuff with. I did try a little bit of gaming, but basically uh the Chrome OS operates like Android. And so a lot of the games don't recognize it as something else. And so you end up with this thing where if you don't have a touchscreen enabled Chromebook like I do, like mine is pretty uh you know, mine's pretty bare bones. It literally is just a web browsing machine with a keyboard.
Yep.
Um it doesn't really play well.
Yeah.
Um and so you're trying to play a game that needs touch controls with a mouse, and that's not fun.
No.
So there's gonna need to be a lot of work for that, I think, in terms of some of these games. And then yeah, the processing power is gonna need to be upped on all, on the average Chromebook. I don't think the like an average Chromebook is going to be able to handle anything that would be much more difficult than say what's the word I'm looking for?
Crab
Yu-Gi-Oh!
game.
Duel Links or Raid Shadow
Hey, don't knock
Legends.
Crab Game.
Yeah, yeah, like Raid
Yeah.
Shadow Legends, Duel Links. Those games will probably, at least with this thing, this Asus that I have, it'll probably be pretty tough.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Or they can raise the average price of all of them, and now it's just expensive to get
That
into.
that's what I was gonna say. I think one of the things that it comes down to is like, Chromebooks are very accessible, right? You
yeah,
don't necessarily have to have a shit ton of money to pull out and be like, hey, let me buy this, right? For you talking about it, I've been in that place too, where I've literally bought a $200, $300 Chromebook just to have essentially a note taker slash the ability to browse the web, utilize it for very simple things. If they're able to optimize them enough that you can tangibly run games and keep them at a low budget, that's awesome. Accessibility for gaming is I will never be against. More people being able to get into that culture and have access to it and have a lower end product that didn't cost them much that allows them to lean into that community. Hell yeah,
yeah,
100%. I'm on board with that. The issue is
Yes,
exactly
sir.
what Mendachi's saying of like, oh, Chromebooks, and everyone goes, "Oh, your $300 to $500 thing are now
Mhm.
going to have gaming," and then suddenly it's like they're $1,300, they're $1,600, they're $2,000 to have access to this. Then it's just going, "Hey, look, we partnered with essentially and looked at the methodology for other gaming computers, and we said we'll take our really really low end computers and just make a specific version that is not as low end that costs more and." Oh wait, we're not really doing anything different besides just putting out a whole new product that can do gaming as well. I guess that's where it comes down to is like, is it actually going to be budget computers that allow you to play video games, or is it going to be um, video like gaming laptops? You know what I mean? Because gaming laptops already exist just for different brands. So
yeah.
yeah,
Green, any thoughts?
I'd have to agree with that too. Like, hopefully, it's Chromebooks don't go crazy if this is something that's featured on said Chromebooks. So, because the technology is already there, you can use GeForce Now on a Chromebook.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that is not an issue that we see happen in the next 5 years, where you can stream games on a Chromebook. Now they're $1,000.
Yeah.
So that's the whole
Yep.
point of streaming. Streaming games is supposed to be like a cheaper form while still getting good performance.
Well,
In my mind, anyways.
yeah, I think the idea is that they're gonna up the processing power in these and start offering higher quality gaming opportunities through the Chrome OS. But
Yeah.
I think that's it for this week, guys.
Think so, man.
Let's go on ahead and wrap it up. Let's start with you, Ice. For anyone who missed it at the top of the show, who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you? And just go on ahead and plug some stuff.
Okay. I'll try and do this somewhat concisely. My name is Jono, but I go by IceBrrglar on my Twitch handle, which is my main account. So if anybody is, obviously, Twitch, you're on here, you're watching on Twitch. You might eventually be watching us on YouTube or somewhere else lately, or just listening to it. But you can go to twitch.tv/IceBrrglar with 3 R's. So IceBrrglar is in Burr, shiver, shoot a gun, my last name. There's all sorts of connotations. But I play video games. I do art. And mainly I play a game called Escape from Tarkov. And do kind of educational gameplay and try and entertain and hang out with chat. Just have a general blast playing video games. Massive nerd. Love doing it. And recently we've been playing The Cycle, which is part of the reason these guys had me on, was to talk a little bit about The Cycle and what that looks like for people that are interested and what the game is like. I do quite a few different things, but mainly I'm just I'm an online entertainer. Now take that as you will. It's a lot of connotations there, right? But you can find me at twitch.tv/IceBrrglar. I got a Twitter account. I got an Instagram where you can see some of the art I do. If you're looking in the back here, you can see some of those Star Wars pieces and also a Daredevil piece that I've worked on. That's another part of the channel that we do. But yeah, we just get into shenanigans. We have fun, and we try and help people step out of the stress that comes with quarantine and work life, and just come somewhere and hang out and vibe with a group of people that just like video games and like talking about nerdy shit. That's kind of what I do.
Excellent. Green Elite. Turn back around.
Not hat time.
Okay.
What's coming up on your
I'm
channel?
Mr. Green. We'll be playing some Hunt Showdown, probably, more than likely. Probably some Dusty, maybe some Tarkov. We'll see. I don't know how it's going to go, but it's going to be a very wild and interesting week. I also picked up It Takes Two. But Sunday will be my last day gaming and then I go on vacation on Monday to Phoenix, Arizona. I'll be flying to Phoenix, and then I'll be gone for over a week, about a week and a half, and then I'll be flying back, and I will be not on the podcast, and I won't be streaming or anything like that. You'll be able to check out Twitter and Instagram. I'll be posting lots of stuff while I travel abroad to Phoenix, the land of death, heat, and old people. It's gonna be great. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. You can catch me on twitch.tv/Mr. Greenleet. As well as Twitter is just Mr. Greenleet, and then Instagram's TTV Mr. Greenleet. I also posted a TikTok today, which is fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Mendachi.
Heyo. So, let's see here. For one thing, Elden Ring is so long. I'm having so much fun playing it, but I do not have a lot of time to play. I am still averaging around 60-ish hours of work per week. As I am in the aerospace industry, and things are pretty wild and out right now, so that's probably going to be the foreseeable future. But I am going to try and continue to maintain a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday stream schedule. Thursday, I'm going to see if I can't start a racing campaign on F1 2021 with my podcast for two people co-host, IceBrrglar. And so you could check out the start of me being terrible at racing games if that's your dig. Friday I might do one last Elden Ring stream, and then I'm probably gonna play that offline and just enjoy it to myself. Saturday will always be Monster Hunter with the homies. And we always keep a slot open for the community, so you're more than welcome to join us. That's Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch until they actually say anything about allowing us to transfer our hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay to the PC port. Um, so yeah, there's that, and that's all at twitch.tv/Mendachi. It's typically in the evening when I am streaming, as I am a first shifter. And then if you want to see what dumb shit I get up to on Twitter, that's at only Mendachi.
Excellent. One thing I wanted to mention before we go is that the Stand with Ukraine bundle on Humble Bundle is still going. You have 2 days to get that. $40 gets you 124 items. And that
I'm
is a
gonna
great
go check that out
cause.
now.
Yeah, link in the chat right now. I'll make sure that we have a link in YouTube. And Green, if you could tweet that out at some point in the next day or two, that would be fantastic as well.
Absolutely.
You want that
I
in the
will
show
post it
notes, my guy?
tomorrow.
Yeah, let's put it in the show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so check that out. Great cause. Fuck Putin. Fuck senseless violence and senseless war. There's no reason for it.
100%. 100%.
And donate in straight donation is like the least anyone with the disposable income can do. But this is this is coming with a lot of fantastic stuff. It's supporting International Rescue Committee, International Medical Corps, Direct Relief, and Raise 'em for Ukraine. So yeah. Otherwise, coming up for me this week, nothing. I am on vacation. I actually have a flight tomorrow out to a particular city on the East Coast. I'm not going to get super specific because I don't want you guys.
I can't say it. I wanted to say it. I wanted to use the accent. You dick.
I will say that there is a song about shipping out there.
Yes, that was my first guess.
A nice little Dropkick Murphy song. That basically just revealed it. So whatever.
Yes.
Anyways,
Perfect.
yeah, follow me on Twitter at Danny K. And that'll be basically. I'm not going to be back home until Sunday night, and I highly doubt I'll be in the mood to stream after that. So, that'll be me. That'll be me this week.
Technically, Sunday night is when Monday early morning is when I leave to go to the airport in Des Moines to fly out. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm catching a flight tomorrow. So no stream for me until the next podcast. Otherwise, guys, that's going to do it. That's going to wrap up the show. Thanks for watching and listening. Your time with us is always appreciated. Of course, we're not just interested in your time or your attention. We are interested in your thoughts as well. Let us know what you think about any of the things that we talked about this week on the show. Also, let us know your thoughts and opinions on the question of the week. Growing up, who was your favorite character from movies, comics, cartoons, and why? Let us know in the chats, comments, or tweet at us. Greenlee, hit him with that Twitter.
At Next to Nothing PC.
Excellent. If you guys missed any part of the show you guys want to take us on the go, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to catch us live, you can find us on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central Time every Tuesday, or most Tuesdays, on twitch.tv/JennyGay. If you guys like what we do, drop a like or subscribe and ring that bell. That really does help us out a ton on YouTube. If you guys really want to take it up to the next level, though, that #1 top tier, right? You guys want to be superheroes in our eyes, where we feel just immense amounts of love for you and wish to show you physical affection. That tier is telling your friends about us, tweeting us out, sharing like a link to a friend. That kind of stuff really does help us out a ton. Otherwise, guys, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting the good fights, and we'll talk to you again next week. Goodbye.
Shave your head.
I love you.